Hello, all you awesome people out there. Welcome or welcome back to Geek Visions Entertainment. And I'm your host, as always, Hoover. And this is the one place dedicated. I fucked up my intro already. And this is the place dedicated to the big three of visual media, that, of course, being film, video games, and television. And this is actually our first one because guess what? So I just saw Captain America Brave New World. I literally just got back into I was supposed to put that thing down. But I literally just got back in from seeing it in theaters today, Sunday, the 16th, yes. So yeah, I went and watched that, and this is gonna be my I don't really want to say a full a review. It's just my thoughts and my impressions of the movie. Because like I said, this is going to be our new way of going about reviewing these things now. So that's is what I'm going to be doing here today. So like I said, not a full in-depth review, but at the very least, it'll be something. Also, I'm trying this way. I don't know why, but I transition between two screens and I think it like flips me over. So I don't know. I don't know why it does that, but it does. So just if it keeps doing it, just bear with me. Actually, you know what? What I'm actually gonna do is I'm actually gonna just do it like this, and then we'll go back and forth like that. So yeah, so I just saw Captain America: Brave New World, and I gotta say, it's pretty good. It's a pretty good, solid movie. I know this movie has kind of been, the reviews for it have been the best, especially among the critics. I have seen a few people online saying that they didn't like it, but it's coming fresh out of it. I gotta say, I'm fresh out of it. I just saw it. Could be a little bit of recency bias, but straight up coming out of it, I enjoyed it. I thought it was a pretty damn good movie. It's not the best thing Marvel has done, but it is definitely not the worst thing to come out of Marvel so far. You know what I mean? But I thoroughly enjoyed it. Some of the things coming out of it, I'm very surprised on uh, how much exactly is coming out of this thing from spoiler alert if you haven't seen it. I'll try to keep things fairly light, but I don't think this is going to be a too much of a massive surprise and massive spoiler. But I'm very surprised at how much remnants from the 2008 Incredible Hulk movie really comes into this movie. I was very surprised about that. I welcomed it because I don't know if y'all know 2008 the Incredible Hulk movie is like one of my favorite one of my favorite like underrated Marvel movies in the MCU, and I understand it was like a bunch of weird shit that went on to kind of like explain, you know, why a bunch of it never got followed up all these years after. But I was really cool to see that. We know you got Thunderbolt Ross returning. We know he's turning to the Red Hawk. We know Samuel Stearns is back in this one, fully embracing. Finally, after 14, 16 years, whatever, of payoff, damn near 20 years later, we're finally getting payoff and seeing him as the leader. So that is dope. Um, yeah, so I was really surprised about how much of the Incredible Hulk stuff was brought over into this movie. The action and the fight choreography in this movie is very well done. You can tell that they were just really being creative in Sam Wilson's fight style and what he could do with the shield that's different from Steve, mostly due to the fact that he has the flight capabilities with his wings and his jetpack. Also like the little he also has the adamantium wings, so it has the little purple energy absorption and redirection that the Black Panther suit has. So that was really cool. So seeing all that stuff was super dope, and I really liked all of it. Anthony Mackie is really cool in this. I will say, um, I loved how, despite the fact that Sam Wilson is now stepping up into the mantle of Captain America, he's never they never wrote him or they never play him to be anything more than Sam Wilson. He's still Sam Wilson within all of it. Like he's still his he's still like is pretty cocky. He's very confident within himself. But he still like knows his limits, and it's really cool because clearly if he got transited to be a Captain America, it could be so easy to try to write him as too much of trying to be like Steve. But he is really still very much himself. He still cracks his jokes. He's still. I just really like the fact that they really wrote him to still be Sam Wilson within all of this instead of being, you know, trying to have him be more like Captain America esque. Even though he's not the Falcon, he's Captain America now. So I really like that. He still felt the same Steve Rogers he's been from the days of when he was Falcon to the days of now, him being Captain America. All that's dope. Why is this a fucking Captain America and Winter Soldier clip? I don't know why. But anyway, so yeah, I really liked that aspect of his character. Another thing I like is I like the relationship between Sam and Joaquin. I think this is the first time we're seeing this within the realm of the MCU of having somebody who was virtually a sidekick himself now stepping up to be a hero and them now having a sidekick themselves. But yeah, I really like the chemistry between Danny Ramirez and Anthony Mackie is great, especially considering the fact that they are very much like the two sides of the same coin. Y'all know I gotta fight with my chair a little bit. They very much are like two sides of the same coin. They are very much, I see why he took a liking to him. He's very much reminiscent of of Sam himself. So that was really dope. Harrison Ford was kills it as Thunderbolt Ross. I really liked his performance. Still very sad. William Hurt didn't make it to get to this massive payoff point of staying with that character for all this time. But Harrison Ford steps into that role and he does it extremely well. I really enjoyed his interpretation of Thunderbolt Ross. Um, who else did I? Who else? Isaiah Bradley. I mentioned it like I really hope when they did this movie that they would still be pretty like heavy handed on like the Isaiah Bradley stuff and going with that, and they really were. And Carl Lumley just did a phenomenal job in this movie. Like he was great. I don't even know how very much more to like explain it, but he was really good in this movie. Like I can't deny it like at all. He was phenomenal. I feel like I felt his performance the most of everybody in the movie. Overall was his performance. And it was just really great. Um, so yeah, he was good in this. I'm very sad we didn't get the grandson in this one. I felt like that'd have been a dope opportunity to have him and Joaquin Falcon cross paths for the first time because I feel like he's another character who's going to be popping up in the future for like this Young Avengers thing that might be going with. So he was cool too. Um, so yeah, those are some things I like. I like we finally got a follow up to the Eternal stuff with the Celestial Island stuff. We're finally getting Adamantium in there, so that's a first big step into what the future of the MCU could possibly be. Also all the dogfight stuff was really cool too. Like that whole the last act, not the last act, but like the second to last act, but like the end of the second act was really cool. The dogfight with Cap and Falcon going up against those fighter jets over Celestial Island was done extremely well. And I feel like it's one of those things that I personally am really hankering for within the MCU now going forward. It's like it's been around for so long and we've had so many movies that my whole thing is just like what do these properties now introduce to the MCU as a whole that we haven't gotten too much before? And for like them to really focus in on like the dogfighting aspect and the aerial combat stuff for this Captain America movie, I figure was really cool, and it was really dope to see that for the first time. Clearly, they were drew a lot of inspiration from Top Gun Maverick on that one, but I don't blame them because that was pretty cool too. All right, so that's for some good stuff. For maybe some negative stuff. I feel like some of the side characters were very much underutilized. Giancarlo Esposito's Sidewinder, he was cool, but he definitely didn't fulfill very much in this, which might not be saying too much because his character I feel like was kind of made to just kind of be of a small time play. He was a cog in the machine of the overall sort of uh, 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 drama in the movie. Um, the two in this guy, the two female actors, the one who acted as his like on his security detail, and the one who was like his chief security officer. I feel like they were also kind of underutilized as well. Like I can't even remember. I honestly cannot even remember their names too much. And I know one of them is like an actual is like somebody from the comics. It was Diamondback or something. No, Diamondback is the one from Luke Cage or something. But yeah, but like they talked about it. She was in there. She was like a maybe a slight spoiler if y'all will hear about that. She was like a former widow. But like she was there, but she wasn't really too much. Um, the leader in this was really good though. I liked him. I feel like he needed more screen time though. But he was cool in this. I feel like he this movie is of course going to get compared a lot to the Winter Soldier, Captain America, the Winter Soldier. So I feel like comparing him to Baron Zemo is kind of a good comparison. Uh, his was he wasn't I feel like he wasn't as prominent as Baron Zemo was in the Winter Soldier, but if y'all remember, his plans felt at least more plausible than than Baron Zemo's did, and it was also like explained like it's like his abilities with the fact that he's just extremely smart and he sees different variables and shit like that. So that is why his plan worked out so extremely well, as opposed to Baron Zemo's, who was like his plans were so much based on like this gotta happen. If it don't, I don't know what I'm gonna do. It was very convenient happenstance for Baron Zemos, but at least the leaders was like it was explained that this was planned and plotted out from the very jump and from the get go. Um, as much as I did like the hangovers from like Eternals and the Incredible Hulk movie being in this movie, I do I do kind of feel like Sam himself kind of got pushed to the back uh a little bit. Like this definitely felt it, like sometimes it felt more of like a Ross movie, like a Thunderbolt Ross movie. Like this was his movie. And like Cap was just a character who was just kind of getting drawn into everything as opposed to him being in like the epicenter of all of it, if that makes sense. Like his whole thing was more is reactive than active. Like his place in a lot of this movie just seemed like he just had to react to other things going on as opposed to him being active in a lot of it. They do a pretty good job of still keeping the underlining thing of Sam feeling that pressure of having to take the mantle from Steve in this movie. And it's one of those difficult things because you don't want to overtread it too much because he did go through that in the Falcon and the Winter Soldier show. Um, but they at least kept that as an underlining motivation and character for him. Unfortunately, it doesn't really equate out to an actual character arc for him because clearly, like the big thing would have been him finally accepting the mantle as Captain America. But like I said, we've already been through that in the Falcon and the Winter Soldier. Um, yeah, so that's why I'm like he doesn't really have too much of a character arc, and it's kind of one of those things Marvel is still really trying. I feel like Marvel is still really trying to figure out because it was like the same problem with Chadwick Boseman in Black Panther. He already had a character arc in Civil War, so once he actually got a standalone movie, he kind of didn't really have one because he already had his big character dynamic change. But yeah, and like I feel like in situations like this, I don't know, like kind of okay, comparing them yet again. When you look at Captain America: The Winter Soldier, um, Steve's big character arc, and it was one of those things that I always wondered, like, how could they make this work? A Steve Rogers Captain America movie work long term? Because he's so set in his ways and who he is. He doesn't really have many character changes and much character dynamic to change up. But I liked it in Winter Soldier because they made it like, okay, now it's not Steve. His character dynamic isn't him changing in the wake of all this. Now his character dynamic is him trying to stay resolute in who he is and what he's done in this entirely new world and how things work and things operate. And that's what was one of the wonderful things about uh, the Winter Soldier. But even in Civil War, it was also the same. Um, but yeah, so yeah, he kind of gets pushed to the background a little bit, I feel, and it's just kind of a small little problem I have in there. But other than that, I still really like the movie. This movie is still very much enjoyable, and I know there's like this big discourse on the internet, which and like my whole thing was like, we're getting to a weird point where it's like you need to just find a few solid, reputable people whose opinions you actually hold weight to, and kind of follow and like look at them, and even look if it's somebody you've been following for a long time or somebody you just discovered, just look into them, because we all know the new meta on the internet is to hate on shit just for the sake of hating on it. And I went into this movie very much expecting this to be like not the best, but I don't think it was the worst, and it very much was not that, and it was that, and I still very much enjoyed the movie for what it was. And like that's kind of like where we're at now, which is like you gotta find a few people whose opinion you actually put some weight into, who have an actually solid track record of some stuff, and follow them. But most importantly, above all and everything else, is you just have to form opinions of your own. And I know like nobody really wants to take the time or spend money on a movie ticket, go out to the movies to see something. So if you don't want to see it because of what you heard, it's fine. But I'm saying I wanted to go see it, and I thoroughly enjoyed myself. And I actually have been seeing quite a discourse of people who actually have enjoyed the movie. If you look at the score, like the critics and the audiences definitely seem to be on two opposite spectrums of what they think of this movie. But I think it's a very solid movie. It's a good movie. It's not the worst thing Marvel's done. It's not the best thing Marvel's done. I would say it sits between like a 6 and a 7. I might have to see the movie a couple more times to actually see which way of that side I'm actually pulling. But I do think it exists between somewhere between a 6 and a 7. Um, yeah, only if there's anything else I want to talk about. Ross's Red Hulk was dope to see. I've very much been a staunch person that I feel like Bruce Banner's Hulk and what they've done with him throughout the MCU so far. I feel like it has been faced a lot of unfair scrutiny because a lot of people don't like what they've done with Bruce Banner and the Hulk so far. And I've been the person who's been like, I think it's kind of unfair. I see where they're going with it. I've just been taking it for what it was. But I can't lie, seeing it felt really good to see just a savage OP savage OP Wild Hulk in the MCU again. And I can't lie, it felt good just to see that once again within the MCU. And the CGI on it was extremely well done. Like it reminded me of seeing the Hulk in the first Avengers film and how much it resembled Mark Ruffalo. The resemblance of Harrison Ford in there is just crazy, but it looks really good. I really enjoyed the Red Hulk and all the Red Hulk sections. So yeah, that's what I gotta say about that. Trying to think of anything else I want to point out. Oh, there is a cameo in the movie. There's a nice surprise cameo that honestly caught me way off guard. But I thoroughly enjoyed. I thought it was a nice little cameo, and it was really cool to see, and kind of really hammering home some character dynamics and character relationships that were established in the Falcon and the Winter Soldier. That honestly, seeing it on screen again, it actually kind of makes me excited and a little giddy to see how much more of this we get and seeing it expanded upon later. First, I think the biggest thing with the MCU and the multiverse saga so far has been the fact that everything has really kind of felt so very disconnected, and that there hasn't really been much connecting everybody so far. Clearly, we know we're in the multiverse thing. We know we're heading to Secret Wars. We know we're heading to Battle World. We know we got Doom on the horizon. it's just unfortunately everything has kind of not felt synchronized, and that is actually the direction that we're going. Um, Captain America, at least, which is kind of wild to say this late into the game so far, it seems like this one is trying to reset things back into reset things back into a clearly concise thing of like, this is where we're going and this is what we're trying to do and this is how we're going to do it. So if you don't know, it's been shown in clips and shit. This ain't a massive spoiler. Ross offered, he wants Sam to reform the Avengers. It was just a small mention in this. Unfortunately, it kind of got pushed way in the back once the drama of the movie started going and getting rolling. But it seems like, at least on this side, the Earth based side, that might be the next big step, is kind of reforming the Avengers, even trying to figure out who the fucking Avengers even are at this point. Because, like, who's all left to, to even form the Avengers at this point? We know Kamala's doing like a younger Avengers thing, her and Kate Bishop Hawkeye. There's a bunch of people who fit the bill to fit within that team. We know we got Billy Wiccan. We got what the heck is Cassie from Cassie, Ant Man's daughter. We know there's her as well. So we'll see who else could possibly fit that bill. Doesn't seem like Falcon is going to be in it. Joaquin seems like Cap might be saving him to be a part of his next Avengers team. But yeah, like who the heck is even left to form the Avengers in the future? We know, yeah, like I said, we got Captain America, Doctor Strange still around, of course. Um, I don't know. Carol is probably off in space somewhere yet again. Captain Marvel. Um, Thor is all. Thor's raising a daughter now, so I don't know how available he is. He's also in space doing his thing. Peter's on Earth again. I don't know if he like has connected with any of the heroes on Earth, but he's on Earth now. So I don't know where he could fit within all this. Of course, there's Shang-Chi. There's that whole Shang-Chi's post-credit scene, which is still to this day not been followed up on, so we don't know what that all entails, but we know he's around. So it'll be interesting to see what they go with in that aspect. And there is a post-credit scene. I'm not gonna spoil it here. It's a very small post-credit scene. It doesn't do anything major within the aspect of the MCU or anything like that. It kind of just reaffirms where we're going and what we know we're about to get and things of that nature. So there is one post credit scene. It's at the very end if you don't know or if you're interested. So you gotta stay to the end of the credits to see it. There's no mid credit scene. So there's just the one at the very end, and it's very much just teasing more of like the multiverse stuff. So there you go. But yeah, but that is my opinion on Captain America: Brave New World. I thoroughly enjoyed it. I think it's a pretty dope movie. Does it is it the best of the best? No, but it's definitely not the worst of the worst. Like I said, I sit somewhere between a 6 and a 7. I have to give it another view or another view or two to fully determine where I go in terms of that. Like I said, always the first time I see movies, I'm in the movie. I'm just interested in the movie and where the plot's going and the drama and the action. It's not until I watch a movie again that I'm like really kind of trying to figure out like, okay, does this plot point make sense? That this plot point left in the wayside, or did it actually get followed up on fully? Was this villain actually fully real? Fortunately, I can tell you right now, the villains in this movie, they're hit and miss. Some of them pretty good, some of them not so much. But yeah, that is my impressions of Captain America: Brave New World. Um, if you're interested, I would say it's definitely worth a view at the very least. It's worth seeing for yourself, and I feel like there is some good stuff you can get out of this. But hey, if you still on the fence and you don't want to commit the money to it or whatever, hey, I understand that one too. I'm just saying I enjoyed it. I think it's a good movie. Um, I think it exists into like the high mid tier of the Marvel movies. Yeah, I mean, come on, though, y'all already know. Yep, y'all seen some mid Marvel movies in your time. Y'all, some of them even got gassed up a little bit more than they should have been. But hey, that's just how it goes. So yeah, thank you all so much for watching and listening. Uh, Yeah, because we got to put this on the audio realm too. If you're listening to this on the audio realm, make sure you leave your boy a review. We are available on all of the platforms: Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, and anywhere else you get your podcasts. We're all on that. Leave your boy a review. Let him know how he's doing. If you're watching this on YouTube, thank you all so much for watching. Make sure you leave a like. Let me know what you thought of Captain America: The Brave New World. Like I said, I enjoyed it. If you didn't, hey, let me know. Let me know why you didn't. Make sure it's like a valid reason, and don't just say I don't like it because a motherfucker on Twitter told me it wasn't good, so I don't like it either. Yeah, but if you feel like what I'm doing right here, subscribe to get in on the channel, get in on the ground floor of my very minuscule channel right now. Anywho, we got a news drop coming up. I gotta restructure it because I kind of waited a little too long, so we got to put some new shit in there. But yeah, we got some more video game stuff going up. We just started Space Marine 2. We still got Dragon Age of Veilguard going, so we feel free to check out all that good stuff. So until next time, everybody, I will see you all next time. Goodbye.